Well, you've heard me mention a few times one of my Barnabas friends, and I'm happy that DerickKopp from Georgia can visit with us on this mastermind. Derick has boundaries in place where he does not work and does not do things outside of work hours, and I wanted to honor that because he spends time with his family. He's very intentional about that. So we decided we're going to record this conversation and bring it to you during our regular mastermind. And so that's what we're doing here. Derick, welcome and thanks for taking a minute today to join us and encourage this mastermind group.
Yeah, thank you. And if I could be there in person on the screen with everybody, I certainly would. And maybe someday I'll get a chance to meet some of you on the screen in person at some point.
I love your boundaries. I respect your boundaries, and I admire the boundaries that you've set. And I think the people in the mastermind as well could take a lesson from that and learn about building solid boundaries and then honoring those boundaries. But that's another story for another day,
Yes.
because today we're talking about getting outside your comfort zone. I think that's critical. We've actually talked a little bit about that on the last mastermind, and I wanted to use this opportunity to encourage the mastermind group because recently you had an experience where you got outside your comfort zone and it's been remarkable for you. It's changed your perspective. It's changed your life, changed your business a little bit, and giving you new thoughts on moving forward in your life. So I'm going to let you take an opportunity here to for a few minutes to tell us about how you got outside your comfort zone, what that looks like, and how it might encourage and what it might look like to somebody else.
Yeah. So I'll tell you a short story. So in the world of coaching, I'm a coach. In the world of coaching, there's this guy named Steve Chandler, who is sometimes called the godfather of coaching. He's been around for a long time, coached a lot of coaches, and a lot of people look to him as one of the leading voices in coaching. I say all this to say he is a guy who I would normally say is untouchable to me, right? And but I read his stuff, I listen to his stuff. He's written a lot of books. I've learned a lot from him. And the thought occurred to me probably at least 6 months ago. I wonder if Steve coaches one-on-one. He's older. He's almost 80 years old. And I just thought, I wonder if he coaches one-on-one. I did a quick Google search 6 months ago, and I couldn't find a place to just like find out if he coaches. And I saw his email address, but honestly, 6 months ago, I was scared. I didn't want to go outside my comfort zone and email him because he's one of those untouchable people. And I was on just a call like this with Chip, probably 2 months or so ago, if that. And I was saying I would really love to be coached by Steve, just kind of thinking out loud. And I said, I wonder if he still coaches. And Chip, I don't even know what Chip said, but we got talking about it. I found Steve's email address and I said, I'm going to email him. And I want to point out real quick, this isn't just about Steve Chandler and me getting outside my comfort zone. This is about having continual good conversations with Barnabas friends, because it was honestly in just an open conversation with Chip that I felt free just to mention it, and Chip kind of pushed that button a little bit. So I emailed Steve. And let me tell you,
Barnabas is, by the way, are good at pushing buttons both ways.
Yes, that's right. That's right. So a story I tell myself often when I would have to get out of my comfort zone is I don't know what to say. And frankly, that's true. I don't know what to say. I've never said it before. Here's a distinction. If you don't know what to say, just choose what to say. Right? So here's the email I sent to Steve. It goes like this. The subject line was, I've hesitated asking you this question, because frankly, I had. I said, Steve, I've hesitated asking you this question for several months because I recognize that vulnerability and possibility are on the other side of this question. And frankly, I've spent most of my life running from those things. Do you coach one-on-one? That was my email. And 24 hours later, I got a response from Steve. Yes, I coach one-on-one. What are you looking for?
Boom.
And yeah, boom. Come to find out, he said, honestly, what you're looking for is probably another coach that would coach you better. Let me refer you to her. And by the way, she and I wrote a book together. Let me send you that book. Right? So I had created Steve in my mind as untouchable, right? What came in the mail from him a week ago? A book that he personally sent me that he and this other lady, Caitlin Samuel, wrote. I say all this to say, emailing Steve is in the string of me getting outside my comfort zone, going to lunch with people. I wrote down quickly a guy by the name of Brandon Mercer, Todd Robinson, Rusty Smith, and Dennis McBride. all four people I've highly admired in the last year and a half, I've gone outside my comfort zone to talk to them
Mm.
and have lunch. And some of them once, some of them several times. I've built good relationships with some of them. I am where I am today because I get outside my comfort zone once in a while. And the more outside I get outside my comfort zone I get, the more I grow. But I recognize for me, 5 years ago, Derick wasn't getting outside his comfort zone. Derick was just happy to be. Well, I wasn't actually happy to be, but I was scared to get outside my comfort zone. So I encourage you, ask the question. They might say no, right? And there's this thing called rejection therapy. And I did this fun exercise. You can go to rejectiontherapy.com. There's 100 different exercises or things you can go through to strengthen the muscle of being told no, because rejection is just information. And there's one that I did. I recorded a video about it several months ago. Going into McDonald's and asking for a burger refill.
I remember that.
I got told no, but it was a very fun minute and a half while the McDonald's employees were actually trying to figure out if they could get me a burger refill. But what did it do? It strengthened the muscle, right? This is my strength in my muscle of being rejected. And what I found out for me, and it's probably true for you, if somebody asked you to lunch, you'd probably say yes. Most people will say yes. So step outside the comfort zone. And I think you might be amazed what's on the other side of it.
That's a great story. By the way, can you send me the link to that? I know you recorded that video about the burger refill. Send me the link. I'd love to share it with the group here. Fascinating story as well. And funny, quite funny. You didn't get a burger refill though, did you?
I did not. But they told me, here's what they told me, which isn't true, that it hadn't gotten to that McDonald's yet, but it was at other McDonald's. It just wasn't at theirs yet because they didn't know what to say.
I love it. I love it. So Derick, your main takeaway from your story about Steve Chandler, who's about 80 years old now, as you said, and your best recommendation to someone who's facing that hurdle that you were facing.
Being stuck is a choice. Being stuck is a choice of not taking the action you have in front of you. I created Steve and these other people that I've asked to lunch before. I created them out to be scary people. Mm-hmm. That was all inside my thinking. And frankly, all I had to do was recognize the possibility that my thinking was wrong. And instead of listening to the fear, I listened to the excitement and the possibility of going to lunch with them. And I've enjoyed going to lunch with all these people and several others. Yeah. So it's just wake up to the possibility that your thinking might be keeping you stuck.
Great. DerickKopp from Georgia, Bulldogs fan. Thank you so much. Falcons fan, I think, too, right? But
ish.
Okay. All right. Thanks for joining us. I appreciate taking time and sharing with this mastermind group. You've been a blessing. You are a blessing in my life, and I know it'll be a blessing to these who are on the mastermind. And please send us that link. I'll share that during the mastermind as well. Yeah. Thanks, Derick. You have a blessed rest of the weekend. Tell your family hello.
I will. Bye, Chip.